Hey all, welcome back to the Fire and Water Cooking Channel. I'm Darren. Today, I know I say it every time, I'm going to do something different, but this one is actually different. I've seen some other things like it out there, but I got some ideas from some other friends of mine, but I'm going to do something I've never seen it done this way before. But I'm going to make what I call sous vide smoked blue cheese slaw. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this full-size cabbage here. We're going to open it up a little bit, sous vide it for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we're going to smoke it with some blue cheese and some other seasonings. So I'll be right back and we'll get into this thing right now.
Smoking, grilling, getting hot and hotter, sous vide and chilling from fire and water.
Alright guys, one of the reasons I'm doing this is because this is going to be a recipe in my book that's going to be coming out in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Hopefully before Christmas so you can pick it up. But I'm working it with my book with Fresh Jack Seasoning Company. They make some really great, awesome, 100% organic, totally fresh ingredients, seasonings, spice blends, and all that. And they requested that I do a couple. They concentrate a lot on, a lot of their customers are vegetarians or vegans, so they wanted to know if I could do a couple vegan or vegetable based recipes for the book, and I said sure, I have no problem doing that. This can go either way. I've seen this something similar to this before by a friend of mine, Eric Gephardt, who's the chef for Kamado Joe, and I've seen him open up a cabbage and stuff it with like I think beef cheeks or something like that, but usually he opened it up and just put a bunch of garlic inside of it and smoked it, and then at the end mixed it in with some smoked beef cheeks. Well, I'm going to do this a little bit different. I'm going to open this up. We're going to put some butter and seasonings in there, let it sous vide and soften up some. Then we're going to take it out of the sous vide bag, put it on the smoker with some blue cheese. I think we're just going to use some really chunky blue cheese dressing to let that kind of permeate and smoke it. And then we're going to take it out of the smoker, chop it up for some nice slaw for a side for dinner tonight. So hopefully it won't take too long. I'm going to get I got the sous vide already up. Vegetables take, a higher temperature, so we're going to sous vide this about 185 degrees for about maybe 2 hours or so. So we'll see how it gets done from there. Then we're going to just toss it on the smoker with some blue cheese and see how it turns out. So I'm going to get working on this. Let me go ahead and start trimming up these leaves. And I'm going to, literally all I'm going to do is kind of cut the core out. So I don't want to bore you guys. I'm just going to kind of cut around there and get the core out, and without making this thing fall apart. I might flatten out the bottom a little bit so I can have it sit up, but I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm done with my cabbage. I'm just going to kind of show you how it turned out here. I'll give you a closer up so you can see. All I really did is I kind of cut around and cored it out and just kind of twisted my knife in there to make a nice deep well. And then I trimmed the bottom just enough to make it so it'll stand up on its own. And what we're going to do, not going to add any of this back in, but these outer leaves, the bigger outer leaves, I'm going to use these to kind of cover it back up to kind of make like a covering, and then we're going to stick it in the vacuum bag. So now what I'm using for seasoning, I used the Fresh Jack's mesquite lime sea salt, and I used about a tablespoon of that. Fresh Jack's garlic herb seasoning, which there's no salt in this, so the salt from the mesquite lime is going to work really well. And then some citrus pepper blend, which I think has a little bit of salt in it, not a lot, but it's got the peppery and citrus flavors that I really like. About a tablespoon of each of these, and then about a half a stick of butter, and it's kind of softened, so I'm going to go ahead and mix these seasonings in with the butter. And what this is going to do, it's going to season, when this butter melts when it's in the sous vide, it's going to season all the leaves of the cabbage kind of inside of it here. Now you can use a little bit more butter if you need to, which I might need to do just a little bit more than a half a stick. So maybe 2/3 of a stick. Alright, I got a little bit more butter there. Now, if you're vegan and you don't want to use real butter, you can use vegan butter. And if you don't want to use blue cheese, you can use anything else you want. This is just the way I'm doing it. So this is not completely vegan, but it could be considered vegetarian. So, or you could just make this as a side dish on your own. All right, so for me, about 2/3 of a stick of butter worked just fine for this. So it filled up the cavity really well. Like I said, I've already got my sous vide going to 185 degrees. And I'm going to go ahead and just show you. I'm going to take these outer leaves. I'm not going to do all of them, but I'm just going to kind of put them on the outside here. Kind of put them back on as kind of like a cover. Try to hold some of that butter and seasoning in so it doesn't roll around, even though we're going to be in sous vide and it shouldn't. Just like that. I'm using my expandable vacuum sealer bag just because it's a bigger vegetable and I didn't know if it would fit in a regular bag. So that's it. I'm gonna secure this up and we're gonna stick it in the sous vide for about, well, right close to 2 hours. So I'm gonna see how that works. Again, that's it. I'm gonna go vacuum seal it up. I already got the bath going inside. We're gonna put it in the my Innova Pro container. So I'll be right back. Got my Camp Chef going here. That's what we're going to use today to smoke this cabbage. I got it set at right at 225 with 10 level 10 smoke. So it's just now getting done with the startup phase. So it's time to shut that down, shut it up, and in about 10 minutes or so, it'll be ready. And stick the cabbage on. Alright guys, I got my smoker almost up to temp and I pulled this out of the bag. It was really easy. It was only in there maybe an hour and 15-20 minutes, so you really don't need too long. And the only reason I'm sous viding it, so I want to get it cooked all the way through. I don't want it to be really super smoky, so I'm only going to put it on the smoker for maybe 20 minutes or so. It's pretty wet, so it's going to attract a lot of smoke. Get me some of that color. The butter is fully melted in there, and I can see the seasonings, but I'm going to put a little bit more, maybe a teaspoon or so of each. The garlic herb, citrus pepper, and mesquite lime salt. And I'm mixing that with just some Ken's chunky blue cheese. You can use Marie's, you can use just full blue cheese if you want. Since this is I'm going to make it kind of like a coleslaw, I wanted this like a dressing. So I'm going to put that right in the middle here. Some of that butter is going to roll out and be replaced. I'm going to put that back in there. Put the tops back on here. And I'll probably add just a little bit more. What we're going to do with this after it comes off the smoker, we're going to chop it up, put it in a bowl, and that's how we're going to serve it. Let me get it on the smoker so we can get some smoke to it and see how this turns out. So far, it's looking pretty good. All right, I'll be back. All right, guys. Well, I took it off. I think it's done. You can see the lettuce is wilted a little bit here, or the cabbage, I should say. Got some juices coming out the bottom, and all you're really going to do is we're just going to chop this up. Really not, we're looking for much of an internal temperature here. You know, we cooked it for a little over an hour and 20 minutes or so in the sous vide at 185. It didn't quite get that all the way into the core, which is, I want this to be kind of a coleslaw, so I don't really want it to be really soggy. I just wanted to get some cook to it and get some heat to it, and we're gonna chop this up. See how it turned out. And look at that. You can see that that's a nice picture right there. Some of the sauce coming down. You can tell some of that butter and seasoning got in there. So all I'm really going to do is I'm just going to chop this up and I'm going to toss it in my bowl. And that's what we're going to have for our side today. I'm going to add a little bit more of the blue cheese dressing. Alright, I'm going to take some of this right here. I'm going to put some more of that sauce in, mix that up in with it here. Then I'm going to take a little bit, take this core here, add a little bit more of the sauce. I got the crunchy part. That's very good. Yeah, seasoning is really good. Blue cheese really got a nice punch to it. I taste the garlic and salt and the pepper and the seasonings. It's actually a really good side dish. I'm gonna have to do this more often. Wow. Take a little bit more of this blue cheese dressing. Just kind of mix it in. That's it. Just gonna toss it. And there you go. Sous vide smoked slaw. It's a thing, guys. It's actually very good. Make sure you check it out, try it out. Something new and different. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on our Fire and Water Cooking Podcast. Follow the website.